from Victor Gyökeres, who again, a lot of people criticizing him, you know, and he scored also the third goal for Arsenal. A lot of people criticize him and say, oh, he's not good, etc. He's not, you know, he doesn't know the Premier League. Well, where are you now, guys? Where are you? Let's be happy, because the guy scored, he scored the most goals in 2026 in all competitions in the Premier League. But I believe, oh no, he didn't. He scored the second most goals because Thiago scored against Newcastle. So I'm sorry, but he scored the second most goals, and he's been very good. He scored 6 goals like in all competitions in terms of the Premier League players. More goals than Haaland, more goals than Semenyo. I mean, he's been fantastic, you know, this year, and he's starting to, you know, show his peak form, Victor Gyökeres. And yes, at times in games where maybe he should have done better, like against Liverpool, I thought he was quite poor. But you know, you look at the other games, like against Inter when he came off the bench, I feel like he should have started against Manchester United. I said it after they lost to Man United. I feel like they should have started him against United, and maybe they started. Maybe Arteta started Jesus because of how well he done against Inter. But in terms of the context, I think he should have started Gyökeres or brought him even earlier, because you know, Arsenal going forward in that game, they were not that great. So yeah, and he's been very efficient. He's very good, and that's how. And he's a top striker. He's a top striker, Victor Gyökeres. Yes, he's not had his best season so far, but if you score the second most goals in the Premier League this year in 2026, and you show that you can be efficient in front of goal, then what's the problem? And he's starting to show his peak form. He's starting to show his peak form, and if he keeps this going, he could still have a good season. He scored 8 goals in this season, which, you know, considering it's his first season, he should be better. But he started to hit his peak form. He's starting to do it, and if he keeps this going, then this kind of flop claims will go away. So yeah, and I feel like Arteta should start him more. Because yes, I understand you want to listen. He played Havertz as a midfielder, which I understand, because Havertz is very good in that role, and he showed that. And Arteta likes very much Havertz, but I feel like he should start Gyökeres instead of Jesus. That's my opinion, because Jesus, like, he's a good player, but is he consistent enough? No, not for me. And maybe because that's the question is as well, is Gyökeres like better when he comes off the bench? Is he a bit like Trossard when he is better coming off the bench than starting? Is he better when like the defenders are tired and the fresh legs are gone and he has more fresh legs, let's say? Is he better at that? Or that's another point I have to say. Even though I praise Gyökeres, is he better coming off the bench? Because he did it against Inter and he did that in this game. So let's see. But I want to see him start more games. I want to see him start against Brentford next game and see how well he does, and especially against those physicality, strong defenders. And Brentford are usually good in defending and set pieces. How Gyökeres is going to cope with it? I would like to see Gyökeres start in that game. I would like to see. And Gyökeres is good physically as well, so it's not like he's you know, weak. Physically he can be strong, you know. And he scored 2 goals, 2 good finishes. Also the third goal, it was good play from a good team goal from Arsenal. Martinelli to Gyökeres. Havertz, I thought he had a good game. Obviously, I think it's the first game he started in a long time coming off the injury. I thought he had a good game, and especially when he played Havertz in that midfield role. He got an assist, and I wouldn't say Havertz was at his scintillating best, but I thought he had a good game, and especially in the role that he has to play, especially in this Arsenal side, and for Arteta, I thought he did quite well. So yeah, and it was a good performance. A well-controlled, well-organized performance from Arsenal. So they're very efficient, they're very strong, and they're now 9 points clear of Manchester City, and obviously Arsenal fans will try to support Liverpool to take points off City. So yeah, but this Arsenal side, they look very strong. They look very, very strong. I mean, they've had this couple of what I notice about Arsenal is that whenever they have 2, 3 games like winless streak, they after that go in a crazy, amazing winning streak. They did that in 2022-23 when I think they drew to Brentford, they lost to Everton, they lost to Man City, and then they went this winning streak from Aston Villa until Leeds, I think. And then in 23-24 they did the same thing when they drew to Liverpool, they lost to West Ham, they lost to Fulham, and then they went in a crazy winning streak from Crystal Palace into Brentford. They're doing the same thing. They had 3 winless games, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool and United, and now they're winning games. I mean, are Arsenal about to go on another winning streak? Because it looks like they could do it. Yes, they've got Chelsea at home, which, yeah, they should win that. Tottenham, yeah, Tottenham aren't that great, so Arsenal should beat them as well, but it's a derby, who knows. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal go in another fantastic winning streak, because they're capable of this. Arsenal side are capable of doing that. They've shown it in the past, even though they didn't win the league yet. So, yeah, but they're looking very, very strong. Newcastle against Brentford. I mean, another difficult night for Eddie Howe and Newcastle. I mean, it's the kind of games where you should expect Newcastle to bounce back and win. They went 1-0 up from a goal from Steven Buckman, but you have to give credit to Brentford because this, I tell you what, this Brentford side is a very good side. They're serious. They're not that, Humpty Dumpty side. And they equalised 37th minute from Yalet. They got the lead before half time from Igor Thiago, the penalty. Newcastle equalised though in the 79th minute from Bruno Guimaraes. But they scored a winner from Dango Oteara, who's, I have to say, except Igor Thiago, you could say he's been one of, he's been a fantastic player for Brentford this season whenever he splits. So, not only him, you look at other players like, Henderson, obviously he's getting old, but whenever he's played, I feel like he's adding value to this team for Brentford. And Dango Otara, he's a quality player. I don't know if he hasn't scored. He's only scored like 5 goals, but whenever I watch him play, he's a quality player. He can cause problems for defenders. And in this game, he was fantastic. Scoring the goal, getting assists, fantastic. And it's unusual to see Brentford scoring a lot of goals and defensively not being that great, because they could see this season Brentford have been usually strong defensively, whereas they concede 2 goals but they can score 3 goals, and that's the impressive thing about Brentford, that they can even score 3-4 goals even if they concede 2 goals. That's how good have been Brentford this season. And it shows that to Brentford is that they don't miss Thomas Frank. They don't miss it. Just like we thought about Liverpool winning the league last season, on the honest level, we said, oh, Liverpool don't look like missing Jurgen Klopp because they won the league, right? And this Brentford side, they look very strong, they look very good. They don't look like a team that's just missing Thomas Frank and Keith Andrews. He was a set piece coach, and people say, oh, what are you doing by appointing him? But I tell you what, he's done a brilliant job. So yeah, well done. You have to give him a lot of credit. And where are Brentford right now? Because I believe they're not that far away from the top 4, if I'm not mistaken. They're level of points with Liverpool, and they're only 5 points behind Champions League spots. I don't think they're going to qualify for the Champions League, but European places is possible. It's possible. So yeah. As for Newcastle, they're now 12th in the Premier League, and they're now 11 points behind Man United, who are on 4th. I don't think Eddie Howe is enough under immense pressure, in my opinion, because for a team like Newcastle, who qualified Champions League twice in the last 3 seasons, and let's not forget, Newcastle are still in the Champions League this season, playing against Karabakh. Newcastle, they still have the FA Cup. They qualified Champions League twice. They have been in 2 Carabao Cup finals, and they won once. Should Eddie Howe get enough criticism? Because I don't think he gets enough criticism, in my opinion. Should he be under more scrutiny? Because Newcastle have spent money as well. Let's not act like they're protected by PSR and etc. No. They spent money as well. They spent money on Ramsey, on Ramsdale, Alanga, and they haven't delivered. So let's not act like Newcastle never spent money. They spent money and they haven't done well. So And Eddie Howe is a very good manager, but I said it before, I started to say it again. Is he the guy to take Newcastle United the next step, the next forward, the next level? Is he that kind of guy? A bit like Manchester City with under Mark Hughes, where Mark Hughes done okay for Man City, but is he the guy to take the next level? No. They brought in Mancini, and he took them to the next level. Do Newcastle need a kind of... also Chelsea with Ranieri. Ranieri done very well for Chelsea, but they're like, no, we want someone to take us to the next step. Jose Mourinho came in. Do Newcastle... I think, in my opinion, Newcastle need that. I don't want to be disrespectful to Eddie Howe. He's a good manager. He's done a good job for Newcastle. But is he that guy? Is he that manager? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, yeah, I think he's done a good job. But like, I feel like with those players, I think Newcastle should do better. And is the cycle, is the players of Eddie Howe, like Bruno Guimaraes, etc. Is the time of those Newcastle players like they feel like they're tired playing under Eddie Howe because they have to press, and this kind of style is coming to an end. We've seen it before with the Tottenham under Pochettino. Is that kind of era of Newcastle they had under that time, because when you are with the same manager for the last 4 years, because Eddie Howe has been at Newcastle since 2021. When you're with the same manager, maybe you start to feel a bit more tired with the same manager, same voices. Do Newcastle need a better manager? Because I don't think Eddie Howe is under more scrutiny, in my opinion. I don't think he's under enough scrutiny. Yes, they still have other competitions to play for, but they're not going to win the Champions League. The FA Cup, let's see what happens, because they've got Aston Villa away, which is a tricky game. So yeah, they're not going to win the Premier League. They're not going to qualify for the Champions League. So, yeah, that's my opinion. I think he should be under more scrutiny, in my opinion. I'm not saying he should be sacked, but he should be under more scrutiny, in my opinion. So yeah, Barcelona beat Mallorca 3-0. Very comfortable win for Barcelona. Goals from Bernal, Yamal, Lewandowski. And Barcelona in La Liga, they go 7 points clear of, 4 points clear of Real Madrid. But Real Madrid still have a game to play today against Valencia away. So it's a game they should win, but obviously with the recent years, what happened between them and between Valencia and Real Madrid, it's never been an easy game. And you look at Serie A, Napoli win 3-2 against Genoa, if I'm not mistaken. Where is Serie A? Yeah, they won 3-2. However, more pain. Højlund scored the winning goal in the 95th minute from the penalty. McTominay scoring 2 goals from Højlund. However, there was more pain for Napoli in terms of injury news because McTominay got injured as well. So Conte said after the game with his interview that he'll probably have to play a minute. Well, and I wouldn't blame him. I don't blame him saying that because the amount of injuries Napoli are suffering right now is incredible. So yeah. Let's move on to today's Premier League games. Liverpool against Manchester City, the big one. It's not a game I'm going to preview. Big game for both clubs. I mean, considering Man United and Chelsea won and Arsenal won, it's a huge game for both sides. Liverpool have to win to still have a proper chance, have a good chance for themselves, a better chance for themselves to qualify for the Champions League, to still be 2 points behind Man United, where City have to win to still be 6 points behind Arsenal. So it's a huge game for both sides, huge game. Obviously, both teams will try to attack, they'll try to score, and defensively, both teams are not kind of let's say kamikaze, but going forward, they are fantastic. They can score goals. So yeah, obviously City don't have a great record at Anfield, as everybody knows that. So how they're gonna go about it, how they're gonna deal with the crowd, especially this is a game that they have to win to stay in the title race, practically. Even though mathematically they still have a chance, but practically in terms of theoretically they have to win. It's a big game, they have to win. They can't drop any more points from now until the end of the season. So yeah. Liverpool, they won the last 2 games, 6-0 against Karabakh, 4-1 against Newcastle, but they have to win as well because the rivals for the top 4, like United and Chelsea, are winning. So Liverpool have to win as well. So it's a big game for both sides. Obviously, Liverpool have a better chance of playing a City at home than it's away, for example, because I think if it was away, then yeah, I expect City to win. But because Liverpool at home, the crowd they're going to have behind them. for sure they're gonna give some stick to Guardiola, as when Guardiola he was chanted by the fans, sacked in the morning and gave the six fingers to them. So yeah, but it's gonna be a big game for both sides, huge game. The only two sides who won the Premier League in the last 8 years. So yeah, but obviously could change. My conviction, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. That's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and bye bye.